Hello everyone, my name is Sup2MGY or Sup Studios, whichever one you'd rather call me, and today this video is going to be a bit different than most videos that I do if you watch my channel. Normally I do Sonic.EXE gaming videos of like playing certain Sonic.EXE games, but no, today is going to be how to actually make a part of Sonic.EXE in Clickteam Fusion, which the part that I'm going to be showing you how to making is the data select menu. Basically the menu that shows like Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman, and you can select each one, and when you do, it plays the Sonic.exe laugh. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make that in Clickteam Fusion, and let's get started. So I'm just going to be using the simple Sonic Worlds engine to make this, which I'll link that in the description if you want to use it. We don't really need anything of it, but it just makes the screen resolution look good, I guess you could say. So let's make a new frame. If I can up, okay, there we go. So let's call this frame data select. Let's just call it data select. So let's open it up, and obviously when we run this, nothing happens. We can full screen though, and that's that. But I have a certain sprite sheet that we're going to use for this. So what you want to do, double click just anywhere, and then this menu should open up and you should see active right here. And if you don't see it, just look it up here, but it should be right here. Just double click that, your mouse will turn into a plus, and then you click and it adds an active object. This object basically is used for almost everything in Clickteam Fusion, like players, things players interact with, etc. But in this object, we're going to double click on it. You'll see we can have the texture here, so we can like paint on it, say whatnot, and it'll change in there. But we don't want to do that. We want to import a custom image. So up here, you see this button called import. You can also use Control O to do this. But you click it, and you should see like your files pop up. I'm gonna block it out just because these are my files. You don't need to see them. But basically, you just want to go find the sprite sheet, which I'll link the sprite sheet in the description. I just gotta find it real quick. Where is it? Just to make it easier, just maybe save it in a certain folder. If you're making like your own Sonic.exe fan game, then make a folder for your game and like save that into that folder, or just put it somewhere obvious with whatever you want. Okay, I found it. So you should see it. You can click on it and then click open. Alright, and now this menu here should pop up, which this is transparent color options, because you'll notice with most sprite sheets they have a certain color as the background. Like this, for example, this one is this blue right here, so we want to hide this blue, so we can have a transparent background. You can see these are all the sprites for the data select menu. Now, something I noticed about this, they have the Tails and Knuckles as well for like the dead sprites if they're dead, which we're not gonna do that in this tutorial. That's for like after you play as the character and die. But for some reason, they don't have the dead Eggman sprite. They have Eggman like here, which would be Eggman like in this thing, but they don't have dead Eggman for some reason. I don't know why, but they just don't. But we're not going to worry about that in this tutorial. So up here, you should see this little pick button. Click pick, and then you can pick any color on this sprite sheet, and then just, if you're using this same sprite sheet as me, pick this blue here, then click OK. Okay, well, it didn't hide the blue. I didn't do. Okay, if it doesn't, normally it should hide the blue. If it doesn't hide the blue and like you're gonna see still this, then click on this button here that's called transparency, or you can press Y, and you should see this little option here, and you can change it to transparency color. So click that. This operation will erase the alpha channel. Do you want to continue? This basically then hides whatever your transparent color is, which in our case it's this blue back here, so we're going to click yes, and you will see it hides all the blue here. So now we kind of have these transparent sprites here that we can use. we have the reason there's 4 statics here. They may look the same, but they're actually different because we're gonna later on put these in like a sequence in another active that like plays an animation. So when they're all playing off, like these are gonna be different frames. This is all just one whole sprite sheet together, but yeah, and they also have this random thing here for some reason, and then the credits with the sprites. So now that we have that, we're just gonna have this large sprite sheet. We're just gonna put it to the side here so it's not visible in the frame. And then we're going to actually start doing stuff to this. So the easiest way to do this is just make a whole thing of the sprite sheet here, and then you will basically use this to like copy and paste it. But we wouldn't actually, instead of like actually like Control C and then Control V to paste it, instead of doing that, we're gonna actually clone it, because if you like copy and paste it, they're like connected. So if we make one edit to this, it's gonna make it to this as well, and we don't want that. So to avoid that, we're gonna right click on it and then click this clone object button, and here it's basically options of what you want to clone. To clone it, like right below here, you want to actually, this is like the, if you want to clone it right below, then you just keep it like this. But if you want to clone it like to the side over here, then change columns to 2, well, not 3, 2, and then rows to 1 if you only want 1. But to paste it just right below, which I want to do, we're just gonna do that, and it paste it right here. But see, they're like separate, so you'll notice how this is active and then this is active too, which we will name these later on because we're gonna have to. So let's make this sprite the background here of the Stardust Speedway Bad Future sky. I'm pretty sure that is the zone. Yeah, this came from yeah, the origin of this sky is the Stardust Speedway Bad Future zone from Sonic.EXE. There are more advanced things you could do with this. Like if you found different layers, you could make the layers move at different speeds to add depth. But we're not going to worry about that right now just because we're provided the full image here. So what we're going to do is select this selection tool here, or press B. Then just select the whole thing. It doesn't have to be perfect around if it's transparent. So then this button here, we want to click crop, so that way it crops it down. But you'll notice it's not perfectly equal on the edges. So to fix that, we're just gonna press the crop button again, and it crops it down to like the closest it can go to the pixels. So that makes it way easier instead of needing to manually like select the edges perfectly pixel by pixel and crop it down. So now we have this sky right here. We just have this. So if we say we want to put it in the frame and run the game, you'll notice it'll appear here, but it's not doing anything. Now in the original Sonic.EXE, this sky would like move across the screen and like just move and infinitely move. And also we might want to make this bigger because it doesn't cover the whole screen. So just gonna do it. Also, this part of the sky here, this like dull part, maybe I recommend hiding that. If you want to show it, you can, but I would recommend hiding it. So if you're gonna like make it bigger, then just make it up to there. Maybe like, yeah, probably this would be fine. Yeah, just make sure like the top, it's not appearing. Obviously here it's appearing, but make sure like it's not peeking out on any edges. And it does look a little weird. I'm gonna actually see if it looks better like this. As of right now, I can't remember like the exact position it was in the original Sonic.EXE, but I'm just gonna put it here. Maybe if you're watching this, then you can probably just go look real quick what the original position was, and you can put it like that. But I'm too lazy to do that right now, so I'm just gonna put it like this. And what I'm going to do, maybe I'll hold on. Would stretching this be okay? Nope, I'm not stretching that. Alright, so what we should probably do here, well, first we want to make it scroll and like move across the screen and make it move infinitely, but okay, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna make it big like that, and then just well, don't run the application. You click the run frame button up here to like run the frame, which basically only runs this frame, but the run application button here, that just runs the entire game, but we only want to run this. So okay, this is looking pretty good. Just want to make sure it covers the whole screen. So now what we basically want to do, make it move across the screen and move infinitely. So first, let's make the system that makes them, actually, let's name it so we don't get our objects confused later on and just have a bunch of actives. So let's name this Red Sky. You can name it whatever you want, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just gonna name it Red Sky because that helps me remember it better. So let's probably put this over here. The reason you'll see why I'm putting it over here later, but let's make the system that allows it to move. So we want to say, so you want to click on the, okay, actually so you see this thing here, right here, this new condition, just double click it, and then you can go through all these different commands here. The reason I'm going through this is in case you've never used Clickteam Fusion, but if you have, then like, you can just follow along easily. So, okay, that is actually not the right thing. I'm sorry, I didn't test this before I did this, so might mess up a few things. But what we want to do is go to, in the properties, go to this little like blue stick figure tab here, and on type, open that up, you'll see a bunch of stuff will open up. We want to click on path here. So click that. Now click edit. And then basically here we can edit its movement, but there's like nothing here to work off of, so let's make a new spot here. Oh well, okay, not really what I wanted it to do, but I mean this little spot right here, it doesn't really matter where it is as long as it's like add in a certain spot, then like you'll be fine. So basically drag it, like make it move across the screen, try to get it as straight as possible. Pretty sure there's a better way to do this, but I can't remember how to do it currently. Okay, so what we actually want to do instead of what I was doing, instead of having path, set this to bouncing ball, and then click here, click this little button to wipe all these, and then click this to tell the program to say that it can only move in that direction. So I'm pretty sure that if we run the game, you'll see it move. So now it'll move, so that's an easier way to do it. And in the original Sonic.EXE, it did move that way, so we're gonna make it move that way, but it's a little too fast, so let's lower the speed, and let's see, like, okay, that's still too fast. You can try to experiment with the speed all you want, but it's easier for me to try to find it. I think that's a good speed. Yeah, we're just gonna go with that, so I would set it to 10 unless you want to try to find a better speed yourself. So now that we got that, okay, so now we've gotten it to move, but you'll see it's moving, it's going. I mean, of course it starts white, so that's a problem, but then it just goes more white and there it goes. It's like gone out of existence. So we don't want that to happen now, do we? So what we want to do is cause it to teleport back here when it gets out of there, so that way it can kind of keep looping. Of course, it's hard to do. We're gonna later on like clone this and make another one and make it do the same thing, so it's longer, because I'm not gonna stretch this thing out all the way. So what we want to do, well, first of all, click the little horse in the checkerboard, start a frame, and let's set the position of the red sky to its current position. So click on the red sky here, and then click actual X and Y coordinates. So that way every time we run the frame, this just sets it to that position, because I mean, you never know, later on code could mess it up and cause it to go somewhere else, and we don't want that. So let's now say if so, hold on. Okay, No, that is not what I wanted. Okay, so what we're basically gonna have to do is take this and move it to a certain position. So to make it move like this, just click on it and hold your arrow keys and you can get it to move. It's pretty slow, but it's probably the easiest way to do it. So what I'm probably gonna do is make it, so basically move it to the position that you'll want it to teleport back to when it's done moving. So remember these coordinates right here, whatever they are for you. So for me, 401 and 381. It's the X is 401, the Y is 381. So click on this, click on position, compare X value. For me, that was 400, not that, 401. Make sure this is set to equal to, actually, set it to greater or equal, just in case. So let's say that. Actually, okay, the Y position probably, no, okay, the Y position doesn't matter actually, because it's not, we just want to worry about the X position. So when it's set to that, we want to set the position back to there. So now, okay, well, that is not, oh, wait, I see what I did. Okay, don't set this to greater or equal. Let's try equal. Okay, so it's moving, and then it loops back. So now it's like looping back infinitely, but obviously we have this white void here. Okay, wait, why didn't it do it a second time? Okay, let's try this. Let's try to set it to lower or equal to. So it did it the first time. I better do it again. Okay, so now infinitely it'll get teleported back. The reason we don't just only set it to equal to is because sometimes it'll go so fast that it'll like miss that position and like keep moving on, but it's better to set to this, so even if it goes beyond that, the program will still think like, okay, bring it back over there. So now that we've done that, we caused it to infinitely move, but the problem now is, see, it's a white void here. So what we want to do is, I think, should we copy and paste it? Yeah, let's do it. So now this would be a good time to actually copy and paste it because we just want them to do the same thing. So get them lined up pixel by pixel. Get them lined up like that. What does that do? Okay, that just... Alright, actually, no, do not copy and paste it. I'm real sorry. Make a clone, then put the clone... Okay, line them up like that. Make sure this has the bouncing ball. Okay, it does. So, yeah, this one is like moving there, but it's off screen. So, what we actually want to do is set it to the position of this. So, we want the X to be 401. So, let's say start a frame, red sky 2, let's set it to position, set X coordinate 401. So now you will see that we have this moving here, but see that teleports back and that doesn't. So basically we need to remake the system of it teleporting. So let's make this easier and let's just drag it here. So that way if it senses that this one needs to go back, it'll just send the other one back too. So now let's take a look at how this looks. Now it might be messy at first. Oh, actually, maybe it isn't. So here we go. We've created the infinitely moving sky now. So really, if you can't understand what's happening and how this is moving infinitely and not like coming back to the white screen, What it's basically doing is there's two of them. They're moving, but then at a certain point they get teleported back to their positions, but they get teleported back to the exact same positions, so you don't see it like teleport. Like if you're doing it but then it immediately changes, then that means you've done your positions wrong and you're gonna have to redo it. You could just copy what I did to make it easier for you, and then you get this effect so it looks like it's moving infinitely. To be honest, I might change the speed of those. They seem like they're moving too fast, so I'm gonna change it to 7, and then change this to 7. And see, you can change the speed anytime, and it won't, like, break the code or anything, because you will see that it'll still move infinitely, so you can kind of experiment with speeds here for them to move at. Okay, I'm just gonna make it move at 5. I think that's a better speed. Okay, so now we've gotten this, and I just accidentally saved that to Simple Sonic Worlds. I meant to save like a new thing, never mind. Let me do this. So save project as, and then you can, cool, sure, I'll just save it to say Sonic.EXE tutorial. I can't spell tutorial. Sonic.exe test game. Let's just call it that. You obviously, if you're making a fan game, you call it what you want. But now that we've created that, let's make the system of having these yellow things and then this red thing moving across the screen, and then we'll like insert the sprites there later. So every time like you want a new sprite, take this, clone it, then whichever sprite you want, crop it on that sprite. So say we want this yellow box sprite. I'm not 100% sure what it's called. Again, crop it down so it crops it to the closest pixel. And then that is kind of that with this. So let's name it. So I'm just gonna call it character box. So what you want to make sure you can, okay, actually here's what we should do. We should look at these layers. So if you hover over this layers tool, you can see that there are layers here. Make new layers for different things. So like have the sky be the bottom layer, have this middle layer. Let's make this the middle layer. So let's take it, drag it into there. Now it's on the second layer. So say we can hide the second layer. Oh, well, gotta go. If we can hide the second layer, it only hides that. We can hide the first layer. It hides everything on there. So now that we have that, let's drag it into here. And it should be like the accurate size. It's just finding the right center positions will be the problem. So here's what you can do. Click it. Click or hover over align in frame. Wait, is that the right thing? Yeah. And then click horizontal center. That basically aligns it horizontally. And then hover over again and do vertical center. So it does it vertically. So now it may not look like it from here, but when you click on it and look at it, you can see it's actually perfectly in the middle. So then what makes this easier for us to do, we then want to clone it, but I'm going to do it in columns like that. So, and I'm going to space it out a little bit. And again, clone it in columns. Take it and space it out, but put it on the other side here. Okay, it doesn't have to be like perfectly spaced, but try to make it look perfect. Try to make it look like it's spaced. Good. Like, yeah, see, this looks fine here. And try to make the edges here equal. Just try to make it look like equal on the edge. Also, actually, I just realized, take all of them here, which you can select multiple things by clicking something, holding shift, and clicking another. Select all of them and drag them down a little bit because we want to make room for the data select text up here, which is provided in this sprite sheet. You can't see it, but it's right here, the data select. So make room for that text to add later on. So Alright, so now that we have those there and in their positions, let's add the little static on them. So you'll see we have these. Okay, well, hang on. First, make a clone of the frame, then have these statics here. Yeah, here's what we can do. Copy, Control C on the frame, paste it 4 times, and then on the first frame, crop the first static. Just crop it down. On the second frame, crop the second static. There we go. And on the third frame, crop the third static. And as you thought, on the fourth frame, crop the fourth static. And then there we go. They are little. You'll notice how as I'm clicking through them, they are different, but they look a little weird here. Like if we play this, that looks weird. So to fix that, go to View, Hotspot, click on anyone, and click this little dot in the middle, and that just moves this hotspot to the middle. You'll see it's over here, so it's like messed up. This hotspot basically like selects the position of it, and if it's in different spots, then it causes it to move. But if you put them all in the same spot like that, then you'll notice they'll play like that, and it'll be fine. But it's not looping. If we play the animation, it stops at the final frame, so we want it to loop. How do we do that? Well, on the direction options here, you can click this, and you can change the speed, and then there's a loop option here, you can click loop, and if you had, like, specific things you want to do, you could make it loop back to a specific frame, but we don't want to do that, so let's play, and you will see we have the static animation right there. I think that's a good speed for it, but you can change the speed to whatever you want. So we have the little static here. So now we want to drag them into here, and it's hard to do that when it's zoomed out like this. So let's go up to the corner here, click the hover down menu, and let's say just 400. So let's zoom in. Oh, well, it's behind the layers there, so I would put it on layer 2. Just with these, since it's kind of a part of these. So try to crop it in here. Okay, well, it's kind of hard. Okay, apparently the static boxes weren't cropped correctly. At least, no, actually, are they? Because this doesn't look like it fits in there. Oh, wait, actually, okay, here we go. Now this position, it looks like, so now it looks like it's in there like that. So basically do that. I'm just gonna make it, oh, well, that was the wrong direction. Clone it, make it 1 row, but 3 columns, because we need 3 statics. Just drag it in there, and move this one in there. And now they all have the statics that they need. And of course, actually no, when the characters are dead, they're like dead frames appear in these, but obviously, like I said earlier, we're not worrying about that right now. So let's zoom back out a bit. And let's name these statics. So let's just say static static, I can't spell, and if there's another frame that's already called that, it automatically adds a number there, which we can do that for these statics since they are pretty much static 1, 2, and 3. So now let's make the system where we can like move across like the selections with this red thing right here. So let's, as always, clone a new one, go and crop the selection thingy, crop it down like that, and put the origin point there. You don't, if it's only 1 frame with like one thing. You don't really have to do that, but we are going to actually add multiple things into this, so I would just do it. I don't know if it'll mess up anything, but just do it. Play it safe. So now you'll notice in the original Sonic.EXE this would like blink off and on, and there's many ways to do this. We can either go in the code and just make it like do a flash code to repeat it, or we can make our lives 10 times easier. Copy and paste this frame here, and then just get the eraser. Okay, we'll make the eraser bigger. Just get the eraser and get rid of it, and add loop. Okay, well that does it a little too fast, but see, there we go, 10 times easier. We've got the basic thing that it flashes. Let's just make that selection. Now we got to, okay, well, is that meant to be cropped like that? I can't remember if it, I don't know if it, I don't think it's, no wait, isn't it? Isn't it meant to be cropped like this? Hold on. I don't remember it being cropped in like that. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it like that though. So what we're going to do for this now, to make it so now we kind of have this selection thing here, so it is like selected on Tails box. So now we're gonna make the system where we can use the arrow keys to like move it across these, and then we'll like add the selection option. So to make it move across, in the properties, go to values, click new, give this value a name, so I'll say position, because that is what we're doing right now. So keep it at 0. We don't really need to change it. And in the code here, let's say, oh, actually, something that I could do to make this better is a group. And let's make a group. So selection tool position. And then inside the group we can select certain code. You don't have to do that, but it can, if you have a ton of code, then it can kind of make it easier to find stuff. So let's say if the selection thing here, click on alterable values, compare the values, make sure you have the position value and equal, and just say if it's set to 0, then we keep it in a certain position, which as of now, that is just its current position. So select that and then the actual XY coordinates. So once we've got that, then what we're going to do, actually I'm going to make it set those positions right there. So now it always goes there. Then we're going to say, we can copy that there, and then in here make it 1. So if it's equal to 1, then what we're going to do, actually instead of doing it like that, what we can do is click on this, move it across manually, and don't worry because we set the code that will cause it to go to the same position every time. We don't have to worry about it going random places. So put it there and then click on it and look at what the X position is. So 2, 1, 3. So now let's say if it's in position 1, then we set the X to 213. The coordinates might be different for you, but they could be, it's a chance that they'll be the same, but they might be different, so just be aware of that. And then basically for the 2, we then bring it over to Eggman's box here, make sure it's equal on both sides. Then we see 346. So in here we can just drag this over, click edit, and then 346. So then if the values are different numbers, then it'll set to different positions. So it's 0, so it'll set to that. And to test to make sure this works, you can click on it, go to the values and set it to different ones. So say, let's set it to 1. It's over there now. Let's set it to 2. It's over here now. So now that we know that works, let's just set it to 0, because when you start the Sonic.EXE game, it's always immediately on Tails box for the start. Now let's make the system where we can use the arrow keys to make this move across. It's really simple to do. So let's add a new condition. And now on the little keyboard and mouse here, this would be like for making things if you click something or if you press a key. So hover over the keyboard upon pressing a key, and then please press any key. So on your keyboard, literally just press a key. So I'm going to press the right arrow key, and then it automatically adds it, right arrow or left arrow, whichever you did. So now so basically this is saying if we press the right arrow, we want to click on the selection tool, values, add, and on the position, we want to add 1 value. So now it adds 1 to position. So now basically in here, if I press the arrow key, you'll see it moves across, but I can't do anything else. So what we want to do is copy that, double click on this, now press the left arrow, not the down arrow, the left arrow, and then delete that, click on it, all variable values, subtract from, then we subtract 1. And now basically, if I press the right arrow key, I can go like that. If I press the left arrow key, I can basically move across these. But something that you don't have to do, but you can do if you want to. So you'll notice that when I'm scrolling across these, say I go to like the edge here, it's on 2 right now. If I spam this like crazy, which is going to add more values, and then I try to go back, it doesn't go back because it needs to subtract all the values that I just added. So maybe, okay, so there we go. Eventually it does that. So that's kind of annoying. So the way to fix that is we'll say okay, so Sonic.EXE would just be copying this, putting it there, well, not there, right there, and not really doing anything there. So let's say if it gets greater than 2, then actually here's what we can do. Set it to 3. So if it gets greater or equal to 3, then we set it back to 2. Say set, not subtract or add, just set to 2. So now we go over here, we spam the right arrow key, we want to go back, it immediately goes back. Now let's just do this on the other side as well. So copy and paste this, right click. Now we do 1, but if not greater or equal to, if it's lower or equal to, then we will set position to 0, which is Tails' spot on there. So now we go over here. Wait, what have I done? It's something's wrong. Oh wait, not 1. You set it to 0. So actually, I'm wrong again. Don't set it to 0 or 1. Set it to -1. And then now we spam the right arrow key, we can immediately go back. And if we spam the left arrow key, we can immediately go back. So now we've made this system. It flashes, the sky infinitely scrolls. We can basically go across here. We can't really select yet, but we'll worry about that later. Okay, let's just real quick, while it's on my mind, let's real quick add the data select so you can see it right here. So get the box tool, do that. You can barely see it, but don't worry, on here you'll see not if it's not on the top layer. So there, you'll see it here. I would just name it data text, name it whatever you want, but that's just what I'm naming it. So what we do now is on align in frame, set it to horizontal center so it's perfectly in the horizontal center, and then vertical, you can just put it to where you think is like good enough. So now you will see we have the data select text. We can move across here, and this is looking really good so far. I'm really liking this. So now we want to make a selection system. So if we press enter, which I mean, you can have the selection key be any key you want, but in the original Sonic.exe it was enter. So you press enter, and then the screen goes black, his laugh plays, and then we get taken to the zone or the main game. So actually, what we should do real quick is add the tails, just add all the character sprites right here, these sprites here. Let's just add those real quick while it's on my mind. Okay, here's something easy to do. Crop them like that. Bring them here. Clone them. Clone it 3 times. Click on, like this first one here. Crop the tails sprite to its max. Click on this one here. Crop the knuckles sprite to the most it can go. And then, just as you thought on here, crop the Eggman sprite to the most it goes. So now we have 3 different sprites. So let's just name these based off their character names, because that's probably the easiest thing to do. So Tails, Knuckles, and Eggman. So now let's get them inside of their little data select things. So I again remember to drag them onto, actually I would drag them onto the top layer here. There we go, because they're kind of more than part of that. So let's drag it in here. It's not going to be perfect because you can't really, actually for this one here, for Knuckles, you could like align in the center and do that, but with Tails, we just gotta make it look accurate. I haven't played Sonic.exe in so long, I can't remember like where it was vertical wise. I think I think that looks good. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. So well, actually what we should probably do is look on here, the Y is 144. Once you've set one of them, you should, what the frick? That looks, wait, why is that 144, but this is, what? Why is my brain confused me like this? Okay, yeah, for some reason their Y positions are different, but make it equal, bring it over here. You can actually do horizontal center for Knuckles, and boom, then that, and then Eggman. Try to make actually Eggman, Knuckles and Tails definitely make their feet like equal with the pixels, but Eggman, since he's like a bigger sprite, kind of make Knuckles like look more like he's in the middle of them. And bring Eggman inside of this thing there. Okay, and there we go. So now we have the data select. We have Eggman, Knuckles, and Tails all in here. So now what we will probably do is let's make the selection system. So that's selection tool position. So you can either make a new group or just not make a new group. So let's say if the value, actually, actually, I'm not sure what to do, because we will make like the locking system of like where Knuckles and Eggman are locked and Tails isn't, so you can't press enter on Knuckles or Eggman, but on Tails you can. So, okay, let's say this. If it is equal to 0, which is on Tails thing, a good way to think of it with the values is 0 is Tails, 1 is Knuckles, and 2 is Eggman. So if it's equal to that, and the enter key is pressed, you can make this right here. This will be the key you press to select the character to go into game. You can make that whatever key you want, whether it's like Control, Space, Z, or you can just make it enter. In the original Sonic.EXE, it was enter, so I'm just going to make it enter. So once we have that, what we will do is we will make a new layer. On this layer, we are going to have an active. We are going to make this active completely black. So just make this well, don't erase it all. Why does it erase it all? Okay, on this active, turn off transparent color if it does something like that. Now why won't it work? Yeah, I can't make it perfectly black, so that's the darkest I can go, apparently. I don't know if it does that for you, then don't worry. It doesn't need to be perfectly black unless you really want it to look realistic. You could just like look up a black on the internet and find just a black plain image and import it. Normally this is faster, so just make this cover the entire screen. Basically, so where if you want to make sure, run this, make sure the entire screen is covered black. And then so let's call this black screen. So then let's hide this. Oh, well, you can't hide a frame if you're selected on it. Why does it still show? This is not what I intended for. Okay, it still shows. Actually, oh wait, I just realized it'll show even if you hide a frame in here, it will show it when you run the application. So what we want to do is start of the frame, click on with the black screen, visibility, make it invisible. So then it's not visible, but then upon pressing the enter, what you can do here, you have a choice here. You can either just make it when you press enter, it immediately goes to the black screen, or you can have it in the original Sonic.exe where there's a delay. Because if you play the original, when you press enter, there was a delay, and then it would go to the black screen for some reason. I don't know if it was intended or a bug, but if you want to have it where there's a delay when you press enter, keep watching from here. But if you want to have it where if you press enter and it just immediately goes, then skip to this timeline in the video. That should be on screen right now, whatever timeline it is. I don't know what it is as of now. So here, to make the delay, what we're going to do, double click in here. We want to add a counter, so it might not be appearing in here unless it is. I'm too lazy to look for it, so just look up counter and you should find it. It should look like this little 0 here. You don't have to change anything to it, just keep it like that. Set it so let's get real advanced with this. Does the counter have no, it doesn't. Okay, so let's make a value to tell the counter to start counting. And basically to that, let's get an active object, add a value, counter start, set it to 0. So then let's say if this is 0, on the counter, set counter to 0. So if it's anytime it's 0, it'll just keep setting the counter to 0. But then what we want, so actually let's do this. Let's click on the counter. No, let's not. On the timer, every 1 second, it should automatically be like that. So every 1 second, let's add 1 to the counter. But if this counter start is 0, then it'll set it to 0 all the time. But when we press enter, we set, oh, not that, we set the value to 1. So that way, like, we don't have to have it where, like, make sure it's set to 1. But if it's just not 0, then it will start counting up. So a good way to test this is drag this onto here. I know you can't see it, but drag it onto there. You'll see it's trying to count up as it's flickering between 1 and 0. But if we press enter on here, you'll notice it'll start counting up and it'll allow it to go. And then okay, so we know that works. So bring it back out there. And then basically when the counter, compare the counter value. So now when the counter is equal to however many seconds it'll take for it to go to a black screen. So I'm going to make that 4 seconds. So like when the counter gets equal to 4, then we add, oh, well, not that. Then we make it reappear. So let's try that. So let's go here. So if we wait 4 seconds here, nothing will happen. We'll just be chilling here. If we try to press enter on, like, say, Knuckles' part, we'll wait 4 seconds and nothing should happen. And on Eggman's part, same. We press enter. We wait 4 seconds and nothing should happen. But on Tails, if we press enter, wait 4 seconds, it goes to a black screen. And then normally we'd play the Sonic.EXE laugh, but we'll worry about that later. So now we have that delay system, and it only does it for Tails as well. So here, let's just hide that. So then that shows how, like how Knuckles and Eggman are locked. But to actually show they're locked, let's, okay, I always forget to clone the frame, and then the little, oh, wrong tool, crop in the little lock icon. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, so put it on the character's frame, and then just bring it on top of the character. On Knuckles, you can go to align frame, horizontal center, and center on him, and then just try to center it with Y position your best. So let's make that lock. So let's clone this on row and column, and then bring it across to Eggman and try to center it your best on Eggman. Alright, that's the best I'm gonna do there. So now we can see Knuckles is locked, Eggman's locked. We try to select them, nothing happens, the black screen doesn't appear. But on Tails, we can select Tails, and it'll go to a black screen here. So yeah, we have that so far. And now let's add some sound. So we're gonna add, like, this menu has like a background sound, which we will add once I download and get the sound, because I do not have it. So be right back. Okay, I almost completely forgot to show what to do if you just want to have it where you press enter and it immediately goes to a black screen. So basically, if you wanted to do that instead of this whole system here, then you wouldn't have these 3 lines of code. You wouldn't have these. You'd only have this. You wouldn't have this thing right here. So on the black screen, just click it and set it to reappear. And then we select Tails, it immediately goes black. So if you want to do that, that's just simply how to do that. But if you followed along with the tutorial, like in the past 2 or 3 minutes, then you will have made this whole system here which adds a 4-second delay. So now let me go get the sounds for the game, and then we'll like add sounds into this. Okay, so I'm back with the sound effects we will need for the Sonic.EXE data select screen. I have the music that we will loop for the data select screen and Sonic.EXE's laugh for when you press enter. So right now, let's say at the start of the frame, on the sound, click samples, click play and loop sample, because this will be the music that we want to loop. These are all the sounds that come with the Simple Sonic Worlds thing, which you can like click them and play them for like, yeah, you can just play them. So we want to browse from file and basically go find wherever you put it. So I have them in the downloads here, so I have Sonic.exe data select, and once you've selected it, you will see the repeat count we want here, and you can repeat it a certain amount of times, but as you can see here, 0 equals continuous loop. Now you can just do something like that, but really for an infinite loop, just do 0. So then, as we play it, and it doesn't want to play, that's, oh wait, I know why it doesn't want to play, and I'll be right back to fix that, because it's not a Clickteam Fusion error. It is an error with the sound that I downloaded. Okay, so now I've hopefully fixed the sounds. Oh, well, okay, I don't want to play sample, play and loop sample, and you see right here, but that's not the right thing, because it doesn't play, because that one is broken. But this new one that I'm selecting will do continuous loop. Now, when we run the game, I imported the wrong sound. I imported the Sonic.exe laugh and not the data select sound. Okay, so now it should work. So yep, you can hear it here, and now we have the sound effects going on here. When we press enter, it's still, the screen will still go black, but we need to do a few things. So when the timer hits 4 and the screen reappears, on sounds we want to do 2 things. On samples, we want to stop a specific sample, and in this case, that would be the data select sound. We want to stop that sample and then play the sample of the Sonic.exe laugh. So we have it right here. So there it was there. So now what we have here, we have this here. We can click tails, and when the screen goes black, oh my god, okay, that scared the crap out of me. And I know why it broke like that. Is something that we need to do. So delete the Sonic.exe. So if it doesn't do that, then congrats. If it does do that, then I will show you how to fix that. So what you want to do, if this counter, basically copy this, don't worry about, just delete those, and insert, it's in here. So in the little gears, on limited conditions, only one action when event loops. Do that. Now, under samples, play the sample, the Sonic.exe laugh. Then, on data here, let's press enter to select tails, and on the black screen, so there's a bit of a delay with the sound, but it laughs, it just stays at a black screen now, that's the problem. So then after that, what we can, so at that point, we're pretty much done here. We have made the Sonic.exe data select. We can't select Dr. Eggman. We can't select Knuckles here. We can only select Tails here. And it has a delay if you did the delay. So, and it plays the laugh, but now we want to, the last thing to do is make on the black screen after his laugh plays, go to the actual game. So to do that, we want to Again, let's just copy that because I'm lazy. Okay, on here, just delete these two. We don't want this to be 4. We want it to be a little bit after the last place, so maybe like 8. Let's try 8. Might have to adjust it, but we'll try 8. So when it equals 8, let's, on the little horse in the checkerboard under here, jump to frame, and then you pick whatever your like gameplay frame of like your hill act 1 or wherever your game is gonna go. Click that. So for the not so simple Sonic worlds, I'll just do the test zone to make it go to the test zone there. So actually it might not work because this is running the frame, but I think there's a way to tell if it works. So let's press enter. Okay, and okay, it closed itself. So if it closes I'm sorry. If it closes itself, then that means it went to it would have gone to that there. So let's say after intro, instead, if we want it to go to there, so instead of next frame, let's say jump to frame, data select, drag it here and here. This basically, now if we run the whole application after the not so simple Sonic Worlds intro plays, we're taken here, we're going through here, and press enter to select tails, we wait a bit, and now we're in like the gameplay. Now this would normally be your hill act 1, but this is just a basic not so simple Sonic Worlds for me. So like, yeah, we can pretty much play to this now. So now closing that out, you are basically done. We have recreated the data select here. So I really like how it turned out. And if you have any problems, let me know in the comments and I'll try my best to help you with that and get them fixed. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This video is a bit different than most videos I do, but thank you for watching anyway. It was a very long one. Sorry, I should have like tested this beforehand, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe. If this video does really well, I'll do more Sonic.EXE and Clickteam Fusion tutorials, because there aren't really any out there on the internet of how to like make certain things that you'd want to do in a Sonic.EXE fan game. So if you want more tutorials on specific things, like maybe having more characters locked, or like maybe some characters are dead, or having characters unlocked, or whatever else, then let me know and I will make a tutorial about that. If the video does well, I'll make a tutorial on like some other stuff. Maybe next, like I could make a tutorial on like how to do Hill Act 1, like how Tails walking towards Sonic with the static. I'll show you how to do that if the video does well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Until next time, peace out.